Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Deal or Bust, where founders come to try and sell their companies live. Make sure you don't miss next week's episode by going to nathanlatka.com/invite. We've got a great show today. If you're watching on YouTube for the first time, make sure you click the subscribe button. And I want to jump in and say hey to everyone. I see we have some early birds in the chat. Hey, Golan, good to see you. Christopher Montiero joining. Guys, where's everyone joining today? Just say hi in the chat. Whether you're watching on YouTube or I see all of you on LinkedIn as well. And you Twitter folks, the Twitter folks are always the quickest. They leave the quickest, shortest, sometimes the most intelligent comments, sometimes the not most intelligent comments. It just depends on how they're feeling. I feel like that's sort of how Twitter works, right? But I can see all of you guys. Go ahead and say hey in the chat. Goldbite saying, who did Techstars back? You are right. The company we have on today is a Techstars company. They backed by another accelerator as well. Guys, we're about 4 minutes away from meeting the founder. And the way this is going to work is we'll bring on the founder. He'll walk us through the business, and then we'll introduce our buyers who will ask the founder questions and try and get to the point where they can value the company and make an offer live. To make sure we stay on track, we've got two great experts today who I'll tease here in a second. Very different skill sets, but both very active in the SaaS community. Alan Bertzler joining from Germany. Guys, this is great. When you engage in the comments, whether you're asking the founder a question or the buyers a question or just dropping your own opinion, check this out. I can stick you guys here in the screen. Benjamin Munich joining from Munich. I'm going to guess your last name is not Munich, but Ben joining from Munich. Good to have you, Ben. Cameron saying, great episode last week. If you guys missed the episode last week, here's what you missed. It ended at minute, about 130. We went for almost 2 hours, but eventually the buyer said, I'd offer 20 million bucks. The chat blew up on the right. You can see the views. I'll let you go watch that episode later to see if the deal actually happened, but it was a really great episode. Pierre joining from France. It's great to have you. We've got Greece in the house. Nguyen is being shy, just saying hello. It's good to see you guys. Don't be shy. Okay, David saying, I forgot it was Thursday. Well, guys, again, we are live. This is not a recording. It is 11:03 a.m. Pacific time, and we're about to meet our founder today. But first, who are the buyers joining us on the show today? And what are critics saying about the show? You can see Clifton saying, love this, watch the first 2 episodes immediately. Ebenezer saying, this feels like it could be the next Shark Tank. And Brian saying, aspiring entrepreneurs and founders, this is truly a must watch. Richard saying, hi, everybody from New Jersey. Good to see you. And guys, you guys are making the show grow. It's not me. It's the founders we bring on. It's the buyers. It's the experts. You guys are growing this bad boy. We're building a great community here, starting with 8,000 views on the first episode, now growing to more than 15,000. You guys are really loving the content, and that gives us all energy to keep it going. So thank you for that. Again, don't miss next week's episode. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube or wherever you're watching. Now, here's a bit of a tease. What space is the company in today? This is the tease here. So you guys heard back in April, sports betting operator DraftKings went public. This was out from the Wall Street Journal. There were billions of dollars sort of going in and out of this deal, both FanDuel, DraftKings. The founder we have on today is taking advantage of this opportunity. There's both regulatory opportunity and just companies in the sort of sports betting space. But what's the B2B SaaS angle? We'll learn that here in a second. Our buyers today are Akil Jabber, who we'll meet again in about 8 minutes after we meet the founder. He's investment director at Horizon Capital, has acquired 5 companies. We've got Kusum Chandri joining with Hazel Rock Capital. First time on the show, we're excited to have her. She's ex-HBS, Procter & Gamble, and led teams at G Suite as they rolled out new products at Google. Our last buyer today is Fred, who has a very interesting background, grew a robotics company and exited it back in 2013, and now is a major investor in New York real estate, over 1,300 owned and operated hotel rooms. And he says, Nathan, hotel rooms are like SaaS. I've got a pot of money. I want to buy companies. Let me on the show. I said, okay, Fred, come on, let's do this. So you'll meet Fred. Our experts today are big figures in the startup world. We've got Ben Tossell with MakerPad, but not just MakerPad. He really has built incredible momentum for his career, starting first at Product Hunt leading community, which is, again, now one of the leading, maybe the leading startup community. And then obviously AngelList after that, now obviously the same company. Today, again, he's leading MakerPad. So Ben will chime in here as well. And we've got the energetic, the always energetic Yako with Winning by Design joining as well. Keynote speaker, author, helping a lot of SaaS companies get their sales process right. Guys, are we ready to meet the founder or what? Are we ready to meet the founder or what? Give him some love. It takes so much vulnerability and humility to come on publicly like this. Share your revenue, share your financials, share your team, share your tech. Click the like button wherever you're watching right now to root this guy on. And I met this guy through my good friend Andrew Gazdecki, who's building microacquire.com. It's a marketplace to buy and sell software companies without any broker fees. I highly recommend it. And I want to thank Andrew for introducing me to our founder today. All right, so let's meet him. Mr. Matt Bailey with Game On. Matt, welcome to Deal or Bust.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to have some fun today.
You bet. So tell people quickly, and then before we get into the company, what sort of deal are you looking for today?
I'm here looking to hear some offers, to be honest. It wasn't something on our radar until recently when we're looking to kind of work out what the next step in the business is, be it funding or something more strategic like this. And we frankly received the term sheet recently and just looking at what else is out there.
Can you share this was that a term sheet for an equity raise or an all-out offer? Sort of what does it look like?
We actually received two. One was for to lead a seed round, and another was for an acquisition. Okay. I can't go into too much details on those, but happy to answer some questions around that as well.
Thanks for giving us the context. Let's talk about the company. Game On. What's the company do?
Game On is free and simple prediction games for the everyday fan, really built through our own frustrations of wanting to get in the game more than passively watching, but our only options being complicated fantasy or inaccessible sports betting. So from the product standpoint, we wanted to kind of break down those barriers, but from the business standpoint, we also saw an opportunity to kind of be an affiliate stepping stone to sports books and to sports betting companies. So that's kind of the quick overview, but I'll leave it for any questions to dive in a little bit deeper.
So for people that are not familiar with like the sports betting space and especially the B2B SaaS angle, Matt, can you sort of explain your UI here and explain how people download your app and use it to bet with friends?
Yes. So this is the UI of our new challenges feature, but in general, you'll jump in the Game On app. It's completely free to play, so it's legal and accessible everywhere in the US. You'll choose a game. So tonight we have some NBA playoffs. We also have an NFL game. You click on that and you'll answer a set of predictions that will serve you. Who'll win? Who'll score the first touchdown? Who'll hit the first three-pointer? 8 questions. Then throughout the game, you'll accumulate points. And at the end of the game, fans with the most points win a real cash prize. Now, this here is our challenges feature, which we just rolled out, which is a peer-to-peer feature. So after you've made your picks, you and I can actually go head-to-head in our Game On predictions for Game On points, for bragging rights, or for something else. And the interesting thing that we're actually seeing is that users...
Now, with you and me, it's going to be bragging rights. I'm competitive as hell, so it's going to be 100% bragging rights.
But the funny thing is we're seeing users bet real money. They're actually putting monetary value in there. We're not processing the transaction, but we're seeing users actually put their own money against this, which is really exciting to see. And we're also seeing other funny things like couples betting massages and dinners and, bottles of wines and things like that. So it's really exciting to see this new challenges feature roll out, and everyone can jump on. Feel free to shoot me a challenge. I'm Game On Matt, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's challenges on the Game On app.
Now, Matt, before we lose people, because, we have a SaaS audience, they like software deals. Just to be clear, one of the large deals you just closed was essentially actually selling to NBC, right? A large company, and they're buying this to drive engagement from their audience. Just walk us through that real quick.
Yes. So this was actually born purely out of COVID and the no sports world we were hit with just about 6 months ago. Early stage startup. We are, very early. We launched last year, went through Techstars, reached about 21,000 monthly active users purely organically, and then sports kind of went off the radar with COVID. And just through necessity, we needed to find something to sell. So we looked at our prediction engine, which is totally programmatic. We don't write a prediction. We don't watch a game. We don't input any score. Data fuels everything. That's why we can host so many games in our app a day. But where else can this live? We needed to generate revenue. And we thought reality TV, news, elections, events, and other non-sports categories. And we didn't want to host that in our Game On app. we actually wanted to sell that and build prediction games for others. So we were able to do a deal with NBC Universal that we're really excited about, where it's across all of their programming actually. But the first cab off the rank is Real Housewives. We are building the official prediction game for Real Housewives, which it still kind of sounds funny when I say it, but it's actually one of the most profitable and exciting parts of our business.
I'm judging you hardcore right now, Matt. I see this tough guy. He's got a beard, and then it's like Real Housewives in pink. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, no, I'm watching more Real Housewives than I've ever watched. But it's a $60,000 deal. That's one season. It's a license. And we're looking to grow that within and outside of NBC Universal. So, for example, if we can just grow within the Real Housewives franchises, which is about 6 of them, Orange County, New York, and others, that can go to a $360,000 deal. And that's not even thinking about, all their other programming like The Voice, the Olympics, and whatnot. So we're really excited about this deal. And me, as a seller, my background is selling. I'm going to be doing more of these.
Guys, we love that. Now, if you're just joining, I want to welcome you guys to Deal or Bust, where software founders come to try and sell their companies live. I see Armand joining in the comments. Armand, good to see you. Clark Ruby saying, I love the business. Again, if you guys are just joining, feel free to engage in the comments, ask Matt questions directly. We're about a minute and a half away from meeting our buyers, who will start asking questions about, maybe profit and loss or expenses or the tech stack or the team or lifetime value or the opportunity Matt sees in the business. And there'll be a live negotiation right after we bring our experts in to also chime in. So, Matt, talk to me a little bit about the history here. So have you raised capital, and if so, how much?
We've raised little. We've raised about $600,000 to date. That includes Techstars and the Comcast Lift Labs Accelerator that we went through last year. And what we've raised is very much family, friends, and angels driven. We haven't raised from institutional yet. And then we're at the crossroads now. If we do get an exit now and do something more strategic now, it's a great result for everyone involved. Or we, raise from an institutional seed and blow it out from there.
All right, very good. Matt, you ready to meet the buyers?
Let's do it.
Guys, are you guys ready to meet the buyers? All right, let's bring them in here. So again, the way this works, we'll bring in the buyers. They'll ask great questions to Matt. We'll get a sense of how they're valuing the company, what opportunities they see, and then we'll see if a deal happens live. Our first buyer today is Akil Jabber with Horizon Capital. Akil, welcome back to Deal or Bust, man.
Thanks for having me back, Nathan.
Tell us quickly, what's your source of capital? What sorts of companies are you looking to buy or invest in?
So we're looking for B2B SaaS companies, generally from 500K up to 5 million in ARR. So that's what we're looking at specifically in North America and in Europe. And then we're backed by, so we have high net worth individuals, some family offices that we work with, that we take our deal with, that have already committed, and we close on the deal if we like it, matches our criteria.
And people always go, Nathan, are these serious buyers you're bringing on? Do they have money to do deals? You've actually bought software companies. How many have you guys bought?
So we've done 5 so far with Horizon, and I've done at least over 10 before through another firm as well.
Very good. Our next buy we want to bring on, actually, real quick, Akil, before we do that, what's your quick take here on Matt and Game On?
It's interesting. It's not something we've done before in the gaming industry. What sports can you do? Can I bet on the LeBron and the Lakers, or is it soccer? What teams do you have on this?
We have all major American sports leagues right now, since we're focusing on the US. But if we have access to data for any sport around the world, we can run contests for it. So, for example, right now on the white label front, we have an opportunity that we're pitching to a Russian sports book where they want a free play offer. So if they can get us the access to the data, we can run Russian Premier League soccer prediction games. It's just a matter of getting access to the data.
All right, Akil, we expect more good questions from you. Let's get our second buyer in here. Fred, welcome back to Deal or Bust.
Great to be back, Nate. How are you?
I'm well. So what is this? Like, when I see robotics and you standing here in this picture, I go, this guy must be like smart as hell. What's this robotics thing you did back in 2013?
So we basically developed the notion of robotic telepresence, which is really about transporting the expertise without transporting the expert, right? So if you imagine you're manufacturing widgets in China, but you live in the US, you have to travel there, a couple of times a month. This way, you just put a robot on the ground and you're joysticking it here. So functionally, it looks like Skype on wheels. But once you put something on wheels, you have to solve a lot of interesting robotics problems. So that's what we did. My first customer was actually Larry Page of Google.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But he didn't. But when he exited in 2013, Google was not the buyer, huh?
No, no. It wasn't
All right.
the buyer. Yeah.
Fred, real quick, what sorts of deals are you looking for now? What's your source of capital?
I guess I'm very similar to Akil here. I'm looking for B2B SaaS with predictable and defendable cash flows. And like you mentioned, I come from a real estate background, so I have a very similar view of how these deals can be structured and how they can be levered and what the expected returns are. But as far as Matt, nice to meet you, by the way. Great app. I had a quick question for you too. When you say prediction, is the prediction? Do you have a prediction engine, or do you mean sort of the crowd wisdom prediction?
Yeah, it's a prediction game. We're making prediction games. So users come in and predict the game.
Right. So the users are predicting the games.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. There's so many ways to go with this, especially if you white label it. So I'm curious to learn more.
So guys, if you're just joining, again, welcome to Deal or Bust. Over the next 5 to 10 minutes, these two buyers will ask Matt questions about the company before we bring in our experts, Yako and Ben with MakerPad. You guys can also ask questions live. I see Shubham in the comments saying, Nathan, love your podcast. First time watching Deal or Bust live from India. Feel free, guys, to throw questions down there in the comments for Matt. Matt, real quick, paint the picture of the B2B SaaS play here. Is there a recurring, revenue stream here where you're selling to more big brands like Comcast?
Yeah. So it is. It's a recurring revenue stream. It's a license that they're paying on an ongoing basis to use us per season or per show or per event. Real Housewives is the first one, and NBC Universal is our first agreement. But we want to do more, and I'd love a partner on board so we can do that. One thing that we haven't touched on yet is that I want to keep building the business no matter where we go. Like I'm as passionate and have as much conviction about this than I ever have. So I'm really looking for a strategic partner to help us build that out, because 6 months ago, B2B wasn't a revenue stream for us. Now it's our most exciting and profitable revenue stream. So we want to keep white labeling this and finding new ways to make money on the B2B front.
Akil, Fred, this is your show now. Get the information you need to try and value this bad boy. Fred, let's go to you first. What question do you have for Matt?
So can you walk me through your sales process? COVID hits and you guys need to generate some revenue and you quickly close this deal. Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, so I am a salesman. So my background is I ran partnerships for the Brooklyn Nets and Barclays Center, did that as well in the music festival world. And then I also did it back in Australia in the broadcast world as well. So I'm a seller, and I do it via two ways. First is leveraging relationships. Anyone in my network or an investor or an advisor, really tap into people that we know to help get in the door. Really important during a time like COVID. And then other than that, I outreach. I put in the time. I have a process. I'll reach out to 100 brands or white label prospects. That'll turn into 20 conversations. That'll turn into 5 proposals. And we'll secure 2 deals. It's a process, but I am a seller. That's what I do. And truly, in raising capital or strategically exiting and getting access to resources, I want to get more out of the product weeds, which I'm in right now, and do more selling, because that's what I do.
Understood. And so I imagine you have some kind of a pipeline right now.
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So. Suppose I'm somebody in your pipeline. You come to me and you say, I have this great product. What do I have to do? So I have to incorporate this into my app, right? So I have to invest some development dollars around this and market it to my own channel?
No, we will be the technology partner. We definitely lean on you as the media partner or the team or the league or the event to plug it into your audience. So for Real Housewives, we've built a web app and the TV app where we're building to their specs. The TV app is going to be on Comcast cable box. As you can see there, you can make your predictions with your remote without going anywhere else. How that applies to the sports betting world down the track will be super interesting. But yeah, we build to your specs, and really what you have to do is just plug it into your audience, promote it, and pop-ups on the TV, commentators talking about it in broadcast. It's an engagement tool that you need to push to your audience.
But so let's take this example. You mentioned you got $60,000 for this. What is the contribution margin? Because now you're doing all the development around this. I understand the core is built, but it still costs money to put this thing together.
Yeah, so this is the first example. It's taken a bit of time to build the first white label. It's taken us about 6 weeks. So we still make a profit on it, but everyone moving forward will take about 2 weeks because we're building it with reusable components. So all of these things, unless there's a new feature being added or anything like that, this product can be flipped to the voice or an election game or whatever else in about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then can you talk about your team a bit?
Yeah, so we are a pretty small team. It's me, my head of technology, and then we have a part-time DevOps guy, Dimitri, and Paolo runs product. So Paolo is actually from a group called Candor Ventures, who are a technology partner, and they call themselves a venture studio. So during COVID, again, we wanted to keep pushing products, but we didn't have capital to do it. So we did a deal with these guys based out of Chicago, but they leveraged talent in Latin America, and we have 5 of those guys on board right now building for us, and it's been a really good deal for us.
Understood. Okay.
Akil, let's jump over to you. What questions do you have for Matt?
Yeah, so my question is around the monetization. So you have the one deal with NBC, $60K. Is that a one-time fee for the entire year, or are you doing any affiliate or ads throughout the platform to monetize as well?
So if we're talking white label, it's a $60,000 a season license fee. So this season runs August through November, and that's what we're doing for one season of Real Housewives. Now, this is a paid, I guess, proof of concept for them, but we want it to turn into the entire Real Housewives franchises, which there are 6 of for the different cities. If we do that, it's 6 times 60,000 for the license, and that'll be a yearly thing because every year there's a new season. So it's a license fee that we're charging per season. But then on the Game On side, with our flagship product, which is B2C, we are implementing affiliates right now. So we've just attained licenses with all of the major sports books in all states where mobile betting is legal. And if we can convert those users to make a real money bet in a state where it's legal, we will get between $200 and $400 per conversion. And then we have ads, and we're building an in-app purchase for this product as well. So we kind of think of Game On as 2 products. We have our flagship consumer Game On app, and then on the white label side, we're charging licenses fees.
And how much work is involved every time you have to onboard a new client there?
So this first one has taken some time, about 6 weeks, but every one thereafter is just we're reusing components. It'll take about 2 weeks. So the first one, it's like NBC Universal has kind of paid for our research and development and building this reusable product, and then any partner thereafter is a really quick turnaround.
So guys, just jumping in real quick, Matt, can you, I think a lot of people watching, myself included, I don't quite understand the regulatory landscape around sports betting. All I know is there was a lot of noise around FanDuel and DraftKings and them going public. Can you sort of explain the regulatory landscape, and are you like the right product at the right time to capitalize on, legal updates, new laws, and also just the psychology of getting users engaged with this kind of content when everyone's locked down at home?
Yeah. So previously, a few years ago, sports betting was illegal from a federal standpoint. So just, the states couldn't legalize sports betting. That was kind of, that was taken down a couple of years ago, but now the states have to, state by state, make sports betting legal. And they're doing that slowly. It's legal in about 12 states right now, but it's very different per state. So for example, in New York City, New York, it's legal, but you have to travel 3 hours upstate to a casino to make that bet. In New Jersey, you can just download an app and play. So that's where it's truly accessible, and it's in about 6 states where it's legal from a mobile play standpoint. Now, what we're trying to do is educate and create a stepping stone to becoming a real money bettor, because right now it's intimidating. Over, under spreads, the language is, the everyday sports fan is still intimidated by that. And there's going to need to be an education and warming up process. And we're trying to be that product. And we're partnering with all the sports books to do that. And, for example, if you're in a state where it is legal, you might see a pop-up that says, hey, here's a $300 free bet to go and play with DraftKings. It's completely risk-free. Go and make this bet. If you do that, we get rewarded for being the affiliate. So we're trying to be that key cog in the sports betting wheel, which, frankly, the sports betting space here is one of the hottest spaces we'll ever see in our lifetime, because it's so mature in every other market in the world, in Australia, Europe. I grew up just knowing what it is with logos all over jerseys. There won't be quite an opportunity like this in our lifetimes because USA is such a big market and sports betting is so young.
Akil and Fred, this is an interesting question for you guys, right? Because I know both of you are usually sort of cash flow buyers. You sort of like to find things with cash flow. But when you look at some of the biggest success stories in just software and business in general, it's always a combination of right product, right time. And there's a lot of luck involved with being the right product at the right time. There's a lot happening in sort of betting right now in sports. People are locked down at home. They can't go out to traditional entertainment. They can't even go to sports venues. How do you sort of judge both the upside and the risk of that with an app like Game On and Matt's ability to capture that kind of market share, Fred?
So first of all, I think there's a distinction here that, there's two businesses, right? There's the white label business and then there's the B2C business. So the B2C business is where I see, potentially having some luck with that. We actually share attorneys with the people who did the DraftKings SPAC. So I have some visibility into how that deal went down. I mean, it's a fantastic space, and yes, Congress and all their wisdom took betting down, and then a couple of years ago they said, okay, go ahead, you can do it, but you got to do it at state by state level. If this is a cynical view, but my personal view is that when you let states do these things, you end up with a lot of corruption, and you're going to end up with a lot of the entrenched players kind of owning that space. So if you could find a way, if I was running this company, I would find a way to, a channel to those guys and say, here, we have this built-in technology and these are the things we can do with it. I can imagine somebody who knows how to run that world would have a lot of use out of the B2C component of this. The B2B component of this is fantastic, though. I always have these bets with my wife. This is what's gonna happen in the election, or and I had a question for that. In the B2C component in the app, can I design my own game? Can I go and say, hey, I think so and so is going to win this election, and then bet against somebody, say my wife, or does the game have to be inputted by you?
In the B2B version that we're creating for a partner?
No, in the B2C version.
No. So the only thing you can do is go head to head with friends and create a wager that way. So it's only sports. It's not, there are no other events in there. We're just doing that for white label. But in Game On, if you make your predictions on the NBA playoff tonight, you can go head to head with your wife and then challenge her for whatever you like. You can put in something like, anything, dinner, drinks, whatever it might be. And we're seeing couples do that. Full body massage is the last one I saw last night. So there's some really fun things that people are betting there.
No, but sometimes, we take turns putting the kids to bed, right? So there's lately there is this competition of who can do it better, right? And so I want to bet, a massage with my wife. Do I have the ability to input my own game into the system and then go head to head?
No.
And if not, what would that take to put in?
That could be a product offering. It's kind of a different product to Game On because you're not betting on an external event. You're betting on something else that's totally controlled by the user. So it's a bit of a different product, I think, than what we currently have.
Akil, Fred, good question there. Guys, if you're just joining, you're watching Deal or Bust, we've met Matt with Game On, which has really made, sports betting interesting for consumers and has given, cable networks a way like Real Housewives to engage with their audiences live while everyone's locked down during COVID via this white label B2B platform. We're taking live questions from you guys. I think Andrew brings up a great point. I'll put his comment up here. He says, with the white label model, the possibilities are kind of endless. Like you could bet on B2B sales teams, classrooms, development teams, etc. Martin going, I can't wait to see if there's going to be any takers. Darko asking a good question here. Hey guys, is there revenue info for this product? Just joined, but haven't seen revenue data in the video history. So what we're going to do here is we talked through Matt already the $60,000 deal you closed with NBC Universal. Do you have any other meaningful revenue streams, or is that the largest?
So that's the largest. We just started generating revenue during COVID, funnily enough. So we're doing about that, just over 10,000 a month at the moment, on track to do 30,000 by the end of the year, which would actually be break even for what we're currently burning. And then hopefully in the new year, into profitability.
So Matt, let you sort of dive into that, because Akil and Fred are going to pay careful attention here, and Darko in the comments is interested too. I'm going to put up the P&L that we discussed prior to this as we were preparing. Sort of walk through, I think a good place to start here, walk through under this revenue line item. You've got a couple things listed here. This 10,000 is the deal with NBC, I believe, over 6 months, but just walk through these different revenue streams.
Yeah, so rewarded video ads are our first programmatic ad in the Game On app. So after you make your picks in a game, we'll ask you if you want to watch an ad for 100 bonus points. 80% of users are watching that ad, and with the current usership that we have in the app, this is what the revenue we're seeing. Affiliate fees, once we roll out, we haven't rolled them out yet, but once we do, these are projections based on what we think we will convert. Just a couple of percent. It's a hard to project revenue stream right now. That's why we're very eager to kind of start doing it. We've just attained all the licenses.
So you haven't, just to be clear, this September revenue here of 17 grand, that's a projection. Have you collected any this month under this affiliate model?
No, so we're just about to start rolling it out.
Okay.
We're just jumping through all the regulatory hoops to finalize our licenses. And then we'll get, depending on the state or the sports book, we get between $200 and $400 per conversion. We have all those deals wrapped up. With the DraftKings, the FanDuels, the guys you would expect, and then that will roll out soon. And then the 10,000, yes, is white label revenue. We hope to expand that well beyond that into the new year, but it's a very new revenue stream for us.
And just to be clear though, Matt, that is actually collected revenue. That 60,000 for NBC has been paid. It's a 6 month, 10 grand a month deal.
Yes, the first invoice has been paid. Second is due next week.
Okay, great. So walk through sort of, the big thing I think here that Akil and Fred are going to be looking at here is obviously expenses, right? So talk to me about your headcount right now. Besides the 4 kind of core team members you already articulated, what else is included in this $30,500?
The rest of it is still team, but it's the Candor Ventures deal that we have in place, where we pay for that half in cash, half in equity. It was a business saving deal for us. We wanted to keep building this product. We wanted to find white label partners during COVID, and it was just another hustling deal that we were able to close that kind of ensured the survival of our business and the growth of our product, despite being in a non-sports world. So that makes up the rest of that, and we're not spending any money on marketing. There are obviously some administrative dollars in there as well, but most of that is team, either internal or with our external partner in Candor Ventures.
And so that was B2B oriented. Take us through these first 5 lines. These are actually active users on the B2C side using the applications. How do you define a monthly active user?
A monthly active user is just someone who makes a meaningful engagement within the app. So they have to make predictions, finish their predictions, or check their scores, make a challenge, anything that's not just opening the app, but are actually making an engagement in there. The average user spends about 12 minutes a day in the app, making predictions, making challenges, and things like that. Before COVID, we were at 21,000 monthly active users, and we're just building that back up now and getting those users back in the app.
Why'd they leave?
There was no sports. There was nothing to predict. So that's why we really put our heads down and focused on building product with the Candor guys.
And do you need, before I turn this over to Fred and Akil, to ask one question each about the P&L and the balance sheet here, and then we go to our experts. Help us understand, do you need a deal right now, or do you have some runway? You're burning, call it 30 grand a month. How much cash do you have in the bank?
We've got enough cash to get through to the end of Q1. And that's why we're in this position right now. Like, what are we going to do next? And we're just trying to see what our options are. And kind of, we want to know before November rolls around, because the holiday season comes and goes very fast. We want to know what we're doing before that.
Yeah, and just talk through the balance sheet here, Matt, real quick. So you're sitting on $150,000 in cash right now, burning $30K a month. You got a tranche of capital back in June. What was that extra $350K?
In June, we did a small internal round, and that was just through our network, through investors that were already invested in Game On. That was just to get us through COVID and to get us through the no sports period, which is where we're at now. And now we're looking at kind of the next phase.
Fred, let's go to you. Any question on the P&L?
Yeah, on the B2C side, I see that you have 10,000 new users. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, so that's what we're organically getting just from referrals, just from people inviting people. That's what we're seeing just from an organic standpoint, people joining the app on a monthly basis.
So am I to understand you're going to have roughly 26,000 active users by the end of September? Is that accurate to say?
No, so you'll see the active active users on top, because not everybody stays in the app. There's some drop off, and the retention the retention isn't 100%. So there is another sheet here that kind of goes through the users and how that pans out and what the projected or blended retention is. But you'll see at the top what our projected total monthly active users is, and daily.
Okay, so that top number is what you expect to have going forward.
At the end, yes, exactly.
At the end, yeah. Okay, got it.
Akil, any question from you on the balance sheet or P&L?
Yeah, just trying to understand your cost of goods sold. What's that $21,000 game payments? Where is that going to?
So that is, we're actually not giving away that much. We're giving away about half in September, but then we'll start giving away more. But we're giving away cash prizes for a couple of games a day. But we're not giving that away in September. We're giving away about $8,000 currently. But if you finish in the top 100 in a cash game, you win a cash prize.
Got it.
And Brian, I mean, Matt, that talks a bit to your acquisition strategy, right? This is why users sign up. They see cash prizes. They want to come in. They want to win and engage. Yeah. But we're trying to find ways that kind of make this a platform despite the cash prizes. So challenges is an example of that. So previously, a cash game would get, say, 2,000 users playing, whereas a non-cash game would get about a third of that. Now that's bumped up to about half since we've implemented challenges, because now people will play irrespective of the cash. They want to challenge their friend on the Yankees game. And then we're doing more and more of that to make this a platform and not rely on cash prizes. An example is, we're building a marketplace right now where you can cash in your points for prizes like, tickets or merchandise or whatever it might be. That is a lower value than giving away cash for us. So we're finding ways to kind of build value around, non-cash games. Yep. Very good. Guys, if you're just joining, the next step here is we're going to be two experts. While we're going to give Akil and Fred, the buyers, time to sort of analyze this deal. Fred and Akil, let you guys jump off so you won't have to worry about being live and looking pretty on camera. You can sort of analyze the deal, come up with a couple other questions. We'll bring you back on in about 10 minutes after we speak to our experts. Matt, what's your temperature right now? You obviously heard the questions from Fred and Akil. Do you think they're going to value your technology in this big brand deal, or do you think they're going to more look at cash flow?
Yeah, I think they're used to more cash flow deals, and I think we're probably a little early for them, but honestly, it's what I was kind of expecting from this, and I understand it as well. We are an early deal, but we're in a hot market, and our price also reflects that, I think.
Yeah, Mub's bringing up a good point here, saying this reminds me a lot of HQ Trivia, which was a huge, very popular consumer app, but no need to schedule the events, way more scalable. So again, people are rooting for you in the comments, which is obviously a great thing. Tell us again, for people that missed the beginning, what do you have on the table right now in terms of offers, and then what are you sort of looking for, a full buyout or a VC investment or something else? Yeah,
so we're really just looking for the next phase of our business where we continue building it. We don't want to go away. I want to be here building this business. So we were looking at investment, and we did receive a term sheet to lead our seed round, but we also received a term sheet to strategically acquire us and still have skin in the game with additional resources and continue building that way with a strategic. So evaluating both. We have runway through Q1 and want to work out what we're doing before the holidays roll around.
Guys, we'll see what happens with our buyers here on Dealer Bust. They'll join back here in about 10 minutes. But now I want to go to our experts. We're going to start with Ben first and then go to Jaco with winning by design. Ben, welcome to Dealer Bust, man.
Hello.
Good to have you. So you know a little bit about community and driving engagement. Tell us a little bit about what you did at Product Hunt and AngelList, and now you're doing at MakerPad.
Yeah, so I led the community team at Product Hunt, just making people or helping people launch their products and engage on those products. And then we were acquired by AngelList, and I moved on to create a no-code movement, like community, basically. So we teach people how to build workflows and projects without having to write code.
At its core, Matt is building a piece of software that touches psychologically on community and betting with your community and inviting in your friends. What opportunities do you see maybe in his UI or just the story to build a bigger community around Game On?
Yeah, I'm annoyed that Mubs messaged that, and he's a friend because I literally put on my notes, I said it's like HQ-esque. And yeah, I was going to ask about challenges and leaderboards and things like that, but I'm glad you actually mentioned that is going on and people are doing it. We've got challenges in our system as well, and unfortunately people do go for the cash prizes. That's what keeps them on. But actually I was thinking of, do you ask the Real Housewives people, do you ask them to like give away tickets, give away prizes related to those series that actually would help engage that community along that?
Yeah. So with a white label partner like Real Housewives, it's not a Game On product, it's a Real Housewives product. And they're responsible for putting up the prize, and we recommend doing something like a money can't buy, happy hour with the housewives, merchandise, things like that. So yes, that's the kind of prizing they're putting up, and then they're also plugging it right into their audience. But we obviously want it to be a good engagement, but we don't profit from the engagement because they're just giving us a license fee for every season.
Okay, it feels like is there a place where the community interacts with each other? It almost feels like there could be a wish list item where people are voting on shows and things like that, where you could even use that as leverage to close a sale for future seasons for things.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible for sure. I mean, you mean in the Housewives example, you're asking if people can vote or suggest other types of shows and engagements?
No, I mean in general, like on the Game On app, is there these are some seasons coming up soon. Vote on which one you really want to like get on. And I know they're like separate apps, but then does it not cross over with your audience at all, or is it very much a separate product?
Yeah, we've kept sports and entertainment separate for now, mainly through the need to generate immediate revenue, and that was the faster path to revenue. But we've thought about that. Could TV and live events live in the Game On app? Maybe. I don't think we know quite yet. But with the white label, we're trying not to cannibalize our Game On app. So we're kind of sticking to stuff like entertainment or elections to not focus on sports for white label.
Ben, there's a lot of people, as we wrap up here, maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, there's a lot of people that say anyone building a meaningful business today, audience is the key because it's a real moat. You can't take away an audience. Can you walk through sort of how you built that moat at Product Hunt and AngelList and how you're doing it at MakerPad so that people like Matt can potentially replicate that same strategy?
Yeah, I think I would actually correct you in saying it's the community that is the moat, not the audience. The audience is someone you like sell to, but a community is a bunch of people who communicate and they do the selling for you. So using them as the key to drive more people. So with Product Hunt, we did a badge system. There was lots of commenting and sort of patting people on the back for doing a good job at launching a new thing. So you've got to lead by example. And like my job was ask stupid questions so other people don't feel like they're asking stupid questions too. So it was almost like a way to engage people. And I always say that as a tactic.
Interesting. All right, Ben, if people want to learn more from you, where's the best place for them to find you online?
Makerpad.co or at Ben Tossel on Twitter.
All right, Ben, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Matt, what have you done to test some of these things? I'm sure you've tested some of these items. What's worked well and what hasn't in terms of community building around these individual shows?
I think what's worked well for us is really just adding more social and shareable elements. So the biggest thing for us right now is the challenges feature. People love it. And I saw a question in the comments like, can you challenge in groups or just head-to-head? Right now, it's just head-to-head for the first iteration. We're seeing some really good engagement. Like I said, almost doubling our engagement on the non-cash games, which is exactly what we want to do. Soon, though, we will be offering groups as well. So you'll be able to actually go in groups. Everyone, might be able to bet something that's where the winner of the whole group wins something. So building more of those social shareable features is definitely, that's what's been a winner for us. And we're letting the product, or we're letting the users and their engagement drive the product. So when we see someone betting real money in a game on challenge, that's interesting to us. If that trend continues, what might we want to do in the real money space or in the fantasy space where you can actually make a real money bet? So letting the users drive the product and focusing on social features.
Guys, if you're just joining, you're watching Dealer Bust. We're 5 minutes away from getting the buyers back on. But first, we're going to talk to our second expert, Jaco, Winning by Design. We're talking about a hot space today, sports betting, DraftKings going public. And is Matt onto something with his app Game On that can take advantage of this very hot space? Let's talk to Jaco. Jaco, welcome back to Dealer Bust.
How are you folks?
We are rocking, man.
Okay, I have to say, and I cannot start without this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to play in this game, this is high risk, high reward, okay? Matt, we all want to be you right now. We want to be you. We want to be in the sports betting business. We love this. Can we please be in it?
Jaco, why do you like the sports betting business?
I say it for the wrong reasons, but it comes out probably wrong. We currently live in a divisive culture. You just found a way how to modify divisiveness. And I know that is not necessarily the place and so on and so forth, but I feel that's the natural things that I see. People are combating each other out there. Well, let's put an app around it and let's make it happen. Mm. But you got some problems, don't you? Here's your challenge. And I'm bringing this up because I believe I want to explain this to you, and then I want to ask a few pointed questions. And the question I'm going to ask you is, you want to be in the B2B or B2C business? Now, first, what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to share my screen for what I've just done and put together for you. Your B2C go-to-market is hard and expensive. The reason why that primarily is because your app that I just pulled from your website, you're trying to monetize a community. What you'll see between your app and those who are betting on you, that is not recurring. There's a recurring element, but you can't count on it. It's not recurring. Now, what you can do is, in order to do this, in order for you to be successful, you got to get into the top 10 rank on App Annie or whatever it is. You got to make sure that you show up everywhere. Now, may I ask, are you currently using anything to push yourself up there?
So I agree with you. We need a growth hack to be successful on that front. And a deal we have in place with Comcast, not NBCU, is to deliver us to homes and bars around the country. Right before COVID hit, we were meant to go into our first few thousand Comcast bars around the country. Now that's pushed back to Q1. But yeah, we need for that to be successful, we need growth hacks like that. And I'm trying to do more of those deals that, for free and low intensive, get us into places that scale like that. So we're not there yet, but COVID set us back a little bit. But yeah, I'm on the same.
Matt, that's the yellow highlight on your P&L, right? The rollout.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are companies that help you with this. For example, Liftoff.io is a company that can help you boost your charts. Take a look into that. I, however, see a significant bigger opportunity. Okay. Your bigger opportunity is your B2B go-to-market model. Now, what you'll see down here is I put your app between Game On Corp. I just call it Corp. I made this shit up right now. And your partners, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight what we can do with that. So you see that? Your sources, your relationships with all those partners, with all those upstream bettors and betting companies, all those sources, your sports organizations and stuff like that. And on the back end, you have your partners. Now, the beautiful part of this is this stream down here, that is recurring. And this stream down here at the back end, that is recurring. Between partners and customers is the responsibility of the partners. Between partners and Game On Corp is recurring. If you pick this, which you have, then this is your model on how you have to go to market. You're early on, it's going to be founder sales. You can't do volume of deals. You got to go after big deals. You can't go cold outbound like you say you're doing. You got to go leverage your network. That is your strategy. So my question is, like I started off with, are you B2B or do you want to make money in B2C? Both are valuable. Both come at a cost. You got to pick one of the two.
Yeah, I think we're B2B on both fronts. We have to either, if we're on the, even on the B2C product, because from a product standpoint, every product we're building is for the consumer, but it's either paid for or driven by a B2B partner. So I'd say we're more B2B, while at the same time we want the data to kind of direct that, and we're looking at the data and looking at what works for us, and the business will go in that direction.
I totally agree. I would go after B2B. Having been former head of sales at Technicolor, a media and entertainment company, I would cut deals. Why? They would be willing to give you more money right now than your customers are actually worth. Their agreements. Why? The seats are empty at stadiums. Like have people bet on what the next outcome is of the Netflix series. Like pick things. Like everything is engagement with them, and that's what they're looking for. So I would sell to your partners upstream, aka the content providers, and to your distributing partners, aka networks, and so on. I would sell a recurring service to that. Because what they want is they only want it during one part of the year. You go like, that is not going to work. Netflix, I need this for 12 episodes or 12 series all over the year. I don't just want to do it for one TV show. And, like NBA games, I don't want it only for the finals. I want to do it for, all the games that you have underneath the NBA wing, including the AAA and whatnot.
Guys jumping in, David Cotton in the comments, Darko, Ash G, Mike Webster. What do you guys believe here? Do you see more opportunity with Game On as being a B2C app, or really you think the opportunity here is B2B like Matt has done with Comcast and NBC, signing that $60,000 deal? Let us know in the comments. We'll feature some of you guys live. Matt, do you feel like you're more to be B2B or B2C?
I think we're leaning B2B because even our B2C product is fueled by B2B distribution. So, that's always been my background. I love B2B deals, and we're doing B2B deals. And just what Jacko said, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We have one deal with Comcast or NBCU right now, and, in the new year, we want that to be multiplied by 10, and we're on the right path.
Yep. Lots of people saying B2B, Orgzit, Mike Webster, Andrew Gazdecki saying B2B, definitely. Very good. Jaco, you always come on, man, and drop value bombs. This is great. If people want to learn more from you, man, where can they find you?
I would love them to join us on your sister channel, right? You're doing on YouTube. We are youtube.com/winningbydesign. And over there, I keep sharing this passion about helping everybody understand sales. Feel free to join, subscribe. I'm just here to deliver what I believe is helping people to understand what sales is really about.
Guys, we love that. Darwin, on my end, we'll be sure to drop a link to Jaco, your channel, in our comments. Jaco, thanks for joining Dealer of Us, man.
You're welcome.
All right. Matt, good feedback there, right? Interesting ideas.
Yeah, love that. That was awesome.
All right, so we're about to bring the buyers back on. We've got about 10 minutes left here. They're going to, ask any follow-up questions they have. Just summarize again, what are you really looking for here? You have term sheets. One is a strategic buyout. One, it sounds like it's a VC investment. If you go sort of the partial route and you actually just raise capital and you give someone equity to do this, about how much of the company are you looking to sell, or would you sell?
The standard 20-25%. Our last valuation or the value cap on our last safe was $5 million. So it's less about how much of the company we're giving away. It's just about getting capital in the business from the right people. So strategic partners.
All right, guys, let's jump back in. Add Fred and Akil back to the stream. Fred, Akil, you chug some coffee. You think of some questions?
There's something I'm still not clear on. You say you want capital from the right people. I'm still not sure what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, well, I haven't been asked yet. We want to.
Good answer, Matt.
we want to. It'll mainly go into team on the product and technology side, but then also into a little bit of marketing. So we haven't spent $1 on marketing to date. So we want to start testing and leveraging, Facebook, Instagram, and some of the things that Jaco mentioned. Build out a college ambassador program, a city leader program, but mainly technology, people, and marketing.
Fred, any follow-ups?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, great. Akil, let's go to you. Any follow-up questions?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Do you guys are planning to get into the esports industry by any chance?
So no, because quite frankly, we're not esports people. But if we had a partner on board to help us with that, absolutely we want it. And I saw a couple of comments in the chat as well. I think that's a great white label play for us because I don't think traditional sports fans and esports completely overlap. But if we can find a right partner to white label to and maybe sharing that revenue, I'd love to do a deal in that space.
Akil, why do you ask? Do you think you can add value there on the esports side?
No, not personally, but I just see kind of from a total addressable market size. If you're going the B2C, I think there's probably more opportunity there. Just on the personal side. I don't know. Do you guys have leadership boards set up as well right now for?
We have an advisory board. It's made up of some really relevant people in the space. One's a former president of Reebok. One's a sports business journal, Game Changer. Another is a leader at CSM Sport and Entertainment, which is a fairly big agency. Another is a director at Take-Two Interactive, which is the maker of NBA 2K and Grand Theft Auto, if anyone remembers that game. We have a great advisory board who I lean on heavily and speak to every week.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do now, if you're just joining again, it's deal time. We're going to circle back to Fred and Akil. They're either going to say, listen, I'm interested. I want to get involved. And here's what I'd propose here to what I value the business at. Or they're going to say, you know what, I'm not interested for X, Y, and Z reasons. But if you're just joining going, who the hell is this Matt guy and why are we talking about esports? He's built a great company called GameOn.app. It's in a very hot space. Obviously, we heard about the news with DraftKings back in April. Sports betting, again, changing very quick regulatory-wise. And they've got an interesting sort of wedge into the ecosystem with thousands and thousands of monthly active and daily active users that they're monetizing. But not only on the B2C side are they monetizing, they're also doing this with big brands like Comcast and NBC. They've got great traction backed by folks like Techstars and some of these bigger brands. Most importantly, Matt is hustling like crazy, like a good founder should, and bringing in some of these big deals, a $60,000 deal with NBC Universal. But the big question is, with $150,000 of cash in the bank, burning about $30,000 per month you see on the P&L here, is does he have enough runway to find that strategic partner to invest and really grow the company? He's looking to get a deal done ideally before Q1 of next year so he can double down on growth. Matt, before we go back to the buyers, any last things you want them to think about before they make an offer?
No, I think great questions. I was excited to hear everyone's feedback. I'm taking a lot of it on board, and this has been a really, really fun experience.
Guys, what do you think in the questions? You think Fred and Akil jump in here and give Matt a great offer that Matt ultimately says, you know what, I like that deal. I want to work with you. Make a prediction. This episode's all about predictions. What's your guys' prediction? Let us know in the LinkedIn chat, the Twitter chat there, or here on YouTube as well. Let's start off, Akil, heading over to you. So let's do this in this format. What do you like best about the business? And then what's your biggest concern? And then we'll get to offer or not.
Sure. So I like the total addressable market, the size of the market. It's a big space, especially if you do go into that esports. I think people are excited about that. A lot of fans are engaged in that world. But I think the part that I don't like maybe is just that I still haven't figured out what the right model is. I think Jaco is absolutely correct. I think you have to kind of decide where you want to focus your energy and just really double down on the right business model. It's an app, so it's the B2C side is not that interesting, and we just don't know how to add as much value as we'd like on that side, I think.
So Akil, are you making an offer here or are you out?
I think, just because it's too early for us, it's a good business, but I think maybe later on when you have a couple more of those bigger clients who might be interested. At this point, I think we'd be out on this.
All right, Akil, thanks for jumping on Dealer Bus. So Matt, this could be a good or bad thing. Now Fred knows he has no competition, at least on the call, but you already have 2 term sheets from folks, obviously, which is obviously a great position to be in. Fred, where's your head at? What do you like best about the business and what's your biggest concern?
There are a couple of things I like about this. First and foremost, I like Matt. I love hustlers. COVID hit everybody like a wall of bricks, and you kind of pivoted and you're making it work. I really like that. At the end of the day, I invest in people. I don't invest in companies. The second thing I like about it, I have no opinion about the B2C other than the fact that I would love to bet my wife we can put the kids to bed earlier. But I definitely see the B2B opinion. The thing I don't like about this is, if I could encapsulate it into one sentence, it's a lack of focus. And I get your dilemmas and I get your prediction, and I know everything is happening just nobody had modeled COVID, right? So things are new, and you go in with some plans, but this is what running a business is. Things happen. You got to be able to take a step back, reassess, readjust, and then full force hit it. I think if you go after your B2B, seriously go after your B2B market and figure out what it is they want and what they're willing to pay you for it, you're going to have a really nice business here. It's just like Akil said, it's a little bit early for me. I'm looking for defendable cash flows, right? And you're not there for me. So as much as I like the no competition betting here, if you have somebody who, more than money, it's not so much money, it's direction. You seem to have a really good board. I would rely on them and pick one and hit it.
Fred, thanks for coming on Deal or Bust. Matt, sort of what we expected, right? It's a bit of a risk coming in. You're early stage. You've got some really smart people behind you, and you're hustling like crazy. I mean, you are the definition of sort of a salesman, founder, going out, testing all these different ideas. You've landed on the B2B. You've got a $60K contract one. For those, I mean, there's a lot of people that watch the show that are not actually on as official buyers. So kind of highlight one more time, if someone did have cash and they're watching right now, and they have some specific skill set, a connection, something like that, a partnership they could bring to the table, what does that connection or partnership look like where it gets you very excited to look at partnering with them?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who can help in either of the streams that we're going after. So on the B2C product, we're working with sports books, we're working with distributors like bars, bar chains, or cable companies to push the game on product out there. Or on the white label front, we want to talk to broadcasters, teams, leagues, whoever on actually building their prediction game. So anyone who can add value there, or even just as a user. I talk to my users every week. If you're a sports fan, if you like betting on sports, like download the app, send me an email, matt@gameon.app. I'd love to just at the very least hear your feedback on the product, where you think we should direct it from here. And anyone who actually can help from any of those perspectives, reach out to me, and happy to look at doing a deal with you guys as well.
Matt at gameon.app. We'll put that email in the comments, Darwin, on our end. And Matt, most importantly, man, you have a bunch of people rooting for you. David Cotton saying, this feels like the right CEO for the right app at the right time. You've been hustling like crazy. We never got into this, but how many years have you been hustling at this? When did you launch the company?
About 2 years ago. So we're just at the first inning, I think. So we're as excited as ever. We're going to keep pushing.
Very good. Andrew saying, hey, Matt, hit me up post-show. Again, microacquire.com, a great place to buy and sell software companies or find partners. John saying, I feel like he needs a strategic partnership with a marketing company. We touched on that today. And then Drew saying, this seems like the kind of guy we're going to be reading about at a huge deal in the future. Super impressive. And I bet he figures it out. Matt, on that note, man, thanks for coming on Deal or Bust.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Had a blast.
Guys, as always, again, it takes incredible vulnerability to do what Matt just did, to come on, to share the company. I encourage you to check out his app. And I just want to thank all of you guys for being so engaging in the comments. Michael Kawula coming on, Andrew Gazdecki, as always, with MicroAcquire. If you guys are watching this going, you know what? I would love to buy a company, or I would love to sell my company, right? Go to nathanlatka.com/casting. We'll reach out to you if you think we're a fit. If you're a buyer, we always ask for a source of capital because we want serious buyers on the show. So just be aware of that. And if you're a founder, really, the show is about supporting founders and connecting you with other founders and other investors. So guys, thank you again so much. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to go back and watch last week's episode, where at the end, about 2 hours in, the buyer finally said, I'd offer $20 million for this. You can go watch that episode now to see how he answered. And if not, I will see you next week at 1 p.m. Central for another episode of Deal or Bust with a pure play SaaS founder doing about $10,000 per month in top line revenue. Guys, my name is Nathan Latka. Thanks for another great episode of Deal or Bust. Take care. Bye-bye.